What's the most inaccurate thing your child has ever been taught in school? My son's science teacher told his class that humans only use 10% of their brains. When he came home and told me this, I knew I had to take action. I'm a neurosurgeon. I've spent 15 years operating on brains, so hearing my son's teacher spreading this myth made my blood boil. But instead of complaining, I offered to give a presentation to his class. The teacher, Mrs. Peterson, agreed excitedly. But when I arrived at the school, I realized she had her own agenda. She introduced me as someone who would confirm how humans have hidden brain potential, just like in that movie Lucy. I started my presentation by showing real brain scans. I explained how we actually use all parts of our brain, just not all at once. Mrs. Peterson interrupted, saying, "But what about people who move objects with their minds? They must be using more of their brain." The students looked confused. I pulled up more medical evidence, but Mrs. Peterson kept cutting me off with pseudoscience. She talked about crystals healing brain damage and meditation unlocking dormant brain regions. When I showed an MRI scan of a brain during different activities, she claimed the dark areas were unused portions. I explained those were actually the most active regions, appearing dark because of increased blood flow. She told the students not to listen because Western medicine doesn't understand spiritual brain power. Things got worse when she pulled out a book called Unleash Your Brain's Hidden 90%. She'd been teaching from this book all year. It was filled with dangerous advice, like stopping epilepsy medication to awaken sleeping brain sectors. I asked to see her teaching credentials. Turns out she'd bought them online from a website that also sold miracle brain pills. She'd never taken a real science class in her life. The principal had hired her because she claimed to have alternative brain expertise. My son raised his hand and asked about a student in his class who had recently stopped taking his ADHD medication because Mrs. Peterson said it was blocking his brain's full potential. The student had been struggling ever since. I immediately called an emergency meeting with the principal. I brought medical journals, brain scans, and reports of people harmed by this 10% brain myth. The principal was shocked. He'd never verified Mrs. Peterson's credentials. They fired her that day. But the damage was done. Half the students had already written papers on unlocking their brain's hidden potential. One student had even started a crystal healing club to activate dormant brain regions. I spent the next month giving real brain science lectures to every class in the school. I brought in actual medical equipment, showed them real neurosurgery videos, and taught them how amazing the brain truly is. All 100% of it. The student who stopped his ADHD medication started treatment again. His grades improved immediately. Mrs. Peterson tried suing the school for wrongful termination. During the hearing, she claimed she could prove her theories by moving objects with her mind. The judge threw out the case. Last I heard, she's selling brain-activating crystals on Facebook.